So since we're all in isolation, I thought why not talk about some isolation films. Now, I pulled out 3 films we're going to talk about. John Carpenter's The Thing, Robert Eggers' The Lighthouse, and Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, which are all films that involve the characters being isolated away from society in one way or another. And I think that these 3 movies are all excellent. I love them. I've heard a lot of mixed opinions on The Lighthouse, but I don't know. I really love it, man. I thought it was kick-ass. I really like The Witch. Look out for a Robert Eggers director spotlight, possibly, once he drops his 3rd film, which I forget what the title of it was, but I believe it's something in the vein of like a Viking film, which I'm totally, I have total faith in Robert Eggers because he delivered on The Witch, he delivered on The Lighthouse, he made them feel like, well, they're period pieces. Like The Witch is so, like, to me, like, that movie came out of left field, and I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, what the hell is this? And then, I watched it a few more times, and I love that movie. And then when The Lighthouse came out, I was super stoked. Didn't get to see it in theater, but I did pick up the DVD. And actually, I don't know if there's any special features on this or not. Well, it doesn't look like it on the DVD. We'll start off with The Lighthouse, which is the newest film, just came out last year. Like I said, directed by Robert Eggers. It is shot by Jaron Blashike. I don't know if that person also shot The Witch, but my God, this is a great film. So basically, if you don't know the story of this, it's about these 2 men who are going to basically look after this lighthouse for an estimated amount of time, which is like a couple of weeks. I think it's like 2 weeks, and basically, Robert Pattinson, who I've like never really watched anything else, killed his performance. I loved him. I forget his name. I think his name was Tommy in the film, and he just played this guy who's sort of like a drifter type, and he's just taking any job he can get. And Willem Dafoe is like this old salty sea type guy, and he really nails his performance as, I think his name's Thomas, also in the film. Like this crazy, but believably of the time, if that makes sense. Like I believe this guy would exist back then. The way he talks and all that stuff. He's got sort of like a sailor's cheer before he drinks, which is awesome because my grandfather had his own version of that, which was my grandpa's version was way more fucking explicit. It's all about pussy basically. So leave it at that. But yeah, man. Basically, Robert Pattinson discovers that there's something up with Willem Dafoe's character, and there's a lot of strange imagery in this film, and a lot of strange what the fuck kind of moments, like sometimes you see something and then what the other character says is totally opposite of what you just seen. So it's a real mind bender, this movie, man. Great film. I think there's only about 3 or 4 actors in it in total. There's well, I guess it's not much of a spoiler because on the back cover you see like a mermaid tail, and then you see the chick screaming, which was quite the scene. Like it shows, if you've ever wondered what mermaid vagina looked like, you kind of get a glimpse of it in this film. Yeah, man, I really liked it. Thought it was messed up. I watched it with my girlfriend, she really liked it. Watched it with my dad, he really liked it. So good stuff. Robert Eggers, I'm looking forward to his next film. Hopefully it gets released sooner than later. Moving on, oh man, John Carpenter's The Thing. Once again, will definitely be a part of the John Carpenter director spotlight that I intend on doing eventually. Same with the Stanley Kubrick. I have a decent amount of Kubrick films to do a nice little production on that. But basically, the story of John Carpenter's The Thing, shot by Dean Cundey. There's a bunch of these scientists, and they're secluded way out in the Antarctic, and they're doing this research and all that, and winter's on its way, and this Norwegian helicopter comes along, and it's shooting the shit out of this dog, or trying to shoot this dog, and basically a series of events happens. Now the American researchers are have the dog under their control, or whatever you want to call it. They have the dog living with them and their dogs, and you get some of the most insanely brutal, gorific special effects by Rob Bottin. Like some of the craziest stuff I've ever seen, and honestly, some of the most shocking and disturbing scenes in this film from when I was a childhood. Like as crazy as this is, like it wasn't the dog, You know what I mean? It wasn't the chest scene or any of that. It was the scene where they were testing the blood. So that scene, man, holy shit. Like, I specifically remember going out into the living room, my stepdad Richie watching this goddamn movie, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And he's testing the blood, and then the blood squirts up, and like I wrote this in one of my little film journal things I showed in a couple of videos ago. I felt like I could smell that blood sizzling, you know what I mean? And the whole Palmer thing happening, like it's unreal. So yeah, if you want to see like an alien invasion happen in this small secluded set of like maybe 10 guys at most, no chicks, just all dudes. Keith David is in this film. Kurt Russell stars as McCready. Wilford Brimley, the dude from damn it, I forget his name, but he's in, I think his name's Thomas Waits, but not to be mistaken with the musician Thomas Waits. He was also in The Warriors as the Fox, who's a fan favorite. Like, I really always thought he was cool. He was like the scout guy, and I thought that was sick. But in the way of special features on this DVD, like, I mean, I don't really have much to say about the film. Like, you know, I love this movie. Just standout scenes, once again, the goddamn dogs going ballistic, and you know, the face splitting up, and all that brutality, the head that's got like a spider head, you know, just like everything. But when they go to the Norwegian campsite and they see the axe in the door, like, that's brutal. When they go and see, like, there's a lot of good matte paintings in this film, revolving around this giant flying saucer that's in the ground in Antarctica. Like, it looks so cool. Kurt Russell's hat in this film is ridiculously crazy. I heard he hated it. Matter of fact, let me get to the special features, because I could talk about this movie all goddamn night. It's great. Watch it. But there's a fantastic commentary with Kurt Russell and director John Carpenter. I think it's from a Laserdisc. Like, so it's an old commentary, but it's awesome. There is John Carpenter's The Thing, Terror Takes Shape, an 80-minute original documentary featuring interviews with John Carpenter, Kurt Russell, special effects makeup designer Rob Bottin, legendary matte artist Albert Whitlock, plus other members of the cast, crew, and special effects team. Also featuring stop-motion animation cut from the film, exclusive work-in-progress visual effects footage, behind-the-scenes location footage, original theatrical trailer, outtakes from the film, behind-the-scenes photographs, storyboards, and conceptual art, which is done by Mike Ploog. Mike Ploog. I know my comic shit still. And annotated production archive. So basically, you have hours of entertainment on this disc. This disc came out, when the fuck did this come out? Come on. I had this issue the other night. We couldn't find years on something. So the film, okay, yeah, I know it came out in 1982, but when did this release come out? 2004. Okay, so in 2004, look how many special features we got. All that stuff I just listed. Here's one from 2019, not even the goddamn trailer. Not even the trailer. Like, what the fuck? Who put this out? A24. A24 is a fantastic company, and I mean, sure, they're putting out some really good movies and stuff like that, but give us some goddamn special features. I hate having to buy the fucking Blu-ray. Like, I'm not like one of those Blu-ray kind of guys that's like, I need to have it on Blu-ray. If it's cheaper on DVD, I'm getting it on DVD, but you shouldn't have to pay the extra $6-7 to get the special features. That's horseshit. I fucking hate that shit, man. Honestly. Like I could probably name a bunch of more movies. Like those Conjuring films. Like, I bought these 2 special edition Conjuring films, and I bet you any money there's not even a goddamn commentary on them. Matter of fact, let's fucking look. Now I'm pissed. Alright. Okay. So here's The Conjuring, put out by Warner Brothers. And guess what the special feature is? Scaring the blanking out of you. That's the special feature. It's gonna scare the blank out of us. That's the special feature? Are you fucking kidding me? What the hell is this one? Conjuring 2, which I do like, and which, this is a fucking insane cover. And that just reminded me, I've kind of been getting back into doing some art, mostly inspired by, well, my girlfriend was talking about drawing for a while and painting and stuff, like getting back into it, and then she started to do it. And I was like, oh shit. And also, like, Trash Stash has been like he did like the Death Wish. Like, I love his art, man. It's awesome. And like, I've been inspired again. So look out for some fucking art videos. But I have some stuff done, but I want to save up a few things to make a video out of it. But back to the rant. The special features on Conjuring 2. The Enfield Poltergeist Living the Horror. Explore the true story from the people who experience crafting the Conjuring 2. An exclusive behind the scenes look at how the scares were created. Blah, blah, fucking blah. So there's like a couple of deleted scenes and you get like maybe a little behind the scenes thing. But still, man, that's horseshit. Like a movie like this, like the Lighthouse, pathetic that there's no special features on there, man. Yeah, we're gonna move on to the final film of the video. I didn't expect me to go 10 minutes on those two movies. Alright, you guys already know what the fuck we're getting into. The Shining by Stanley Kubrick. I just realized that the room is extremely dark in here right now, but it's okay. Yeah. Stanley Kubrick's The Shining is all about. First of all, let's give credit where credit is due. You know what? Shit, man. Where the fuck is The Shining? Okay, so I got The Shining on tape, and the reason I'm looking for it, it's probably out in the garage, but I'll give my reasoning. There's no information. Oh, it's right here in front of my face. Wow, man. I need to lay off the fucking, hey, how are you? It doesn't even list it. Okay, so for some strange reason, the director of photography is not listed on the back of The Shining, so I'll have to put that in there. That's kind of a bummer, man, because he's like, whoever shot this. I mean, granted, you could say that Kubrick, even if you watch well, we'll get into that in a minute, but like whoever shot this deserves to be on the back of the goddamn box. Like, I'll bet you any money the back of Conjuring 2, whoever shot it is on there. Yeah, Garrett, yeah. Come on. Who the fuck's in charge of that, man? Like, come on. Alright. Anyways, The Shining is all about this hotel, basically. And it's more than that. It's about this family dynamic, which is completely fucked. It's about an alcoholic writer, ex-teacher, his wife, who's like unbearably annoying, but you know, she has the innocence in her, so like you don't feel like you can't completely hate her, but you can be easily annoyed. And if you watch, if you're a fan of the Opie and Anthony show, which is a radio show, it's unreal. But there's a video you can find on YouTube where it's Opie and Anthony talking with Kevin Smith about The Shining. It's about 17 minutes long. I would highly recommend you listen to that video if you know you're Shining, basically. If you don't know Shining like out the ass, then it might not be as funny to you. But basically, this movie is all about Jack Nicholson taking the job as this caretaker of a hotel. So like I said, his family dynamic is messed, and now he's secluding them, isolating them, if you will, in this giant hotel in Colorado, like out in the Rockies. Like, you cannot, like, the reason he's going to be there is just to make sure that the boiler doesn't shut down, you know, heating different parts of the hotel when they need to be, and that kind of shit, right? Like, just general maintenance, like nothing heavy duty. Like, the most slack is like I would do that fucking job, you know what I mean? And I think I could convince my girlfriend, let's go fucking live out in the mountains for a fucking year, you know what I mean? And we have the whole range of the hotel, gym, all that shit. It would be great. But unfortunately for Jack Nicholson and his family, they run into a demonic presence that's followed Danny from childhood. Like, if you've read the Shining book, which is insane, way fucking scary, messed up, especially so if you've read the book, you know the part I'm talking about where Danny has sort of his first experience with Tony, and he says like he sees him down the street. Like, when I first read that, I was like, I had to like look around for a minute, you know what I mean? Do one of those. So but yeah, now that they're at the hotel, this demonic presence is starting to work its toll on Jack, turning him into more of an irritable asshole to his family, or to his wife especially. Not really to his son, but it comes to a point where the demonic presence actually causes physical harm to the son, and that's when the wife thinks that it's Jack, who's got a history of being a fucking, you know, he hit the son, but I believe that it was probably an accident. That's a cocksucker thing to do, and being a piss tank is just a cocksucker thing to be in general, but especially if it leads to you hurting your kid, like that's when you know you need to, you know, set the bottle down and get your shit together. So There's an excellent scene in this film with him at the bar, which is supposed to, this hotel's supposed to be empty, and he's sitting at the bar talking to a bartender, you know, and the bartender's played by Joe Tyrell. No, Joe Turkel, who's Tyrell in fucking, was it Blade Runner, Aliens, one of those films. But man, I should mention that the cast in this film, other than Jack Nicholson, Shelley Duvall is the wife, Danny Lloyd is the son, and Scatman Crothers, who's like this dude from I know him from, I think he was in Sanford & Son, which is an old show from the 70s that me and my dad fucking love. He was in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest as one of the orderlies, and he was great in that. Like, I like the party scene in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Come on, it's so good. I love that shit, man. If you've never seen that film, watch it. Shout out to whoever said, whoever was in my comments in like the last video that mentioned they watched the trailer for Colors, and like they're gonna check it out. Enjoy. Fucking enjoy, man, because it's awesome. But like I said, watch the longest version you can find, because there is a like, I guess, director's cut, and it's directed by Dennis Hopper or Dennis Hooper or whatever the fuck his name is. He's passed on, so rest in peace. But yeah, man. And in the way of like the special effects in this film, you have these two twins who are like demonic presences, basically daughters of one of the previous caretakers. Basically, the people that go to this hotel that are caretakers end up being, you know, murdering their family, more or less. Great scene in the bathroom where Jack Nicholson's talking to a ghost, you know, and it's hilarious how like the ghost like spills the drink on Jack, and he's like, oh, you know, I was planning on changing my jacket before the wine and goose soiree or some shit like that. Like, it's ridiculous. But yeah, man, in way of special features on this movie, before it turns into a 20-minute video, which it is gonna be, we got the remastered edition of the film, yes. Behind the scenes documentary, The Making of The Shining, with commentary by director Vivian Kubrick. Theatrical trailer, languages and subtitles accordingly. So the goddamn little documentary you have in here, I think it's no more than maybe 20 minutes, but it's directed by Stanley Kubrick's daughter. And there's a commentary track on there, so you can check that out with her at a later age in her life. And it's great. You see so much cool stuff. Like, honestly, one of my most, like, whenever, like even now, still, like, when I'm, like, thinking about filmmaking, and if I get, like, in a rut or something, I just think of that scene in The Shining that I've always loved, where Jack Nicholson is, like, looking down, he's got his head pressed against the door, talking to the ghost and Wendy outside of the door. To see Kubrick compose that shot in that documentary means so fucking much to me, and I would think about that, and I would go, you know what? Kubrick would fucking lay on the ground to find a shot, man, so find the goddamn shot, and it's an inspiration. So definitely special features, making of documentaries, I love them to death, man. I just wish there was more. Lighthouse deserves one. If it's on the Blu-ray but not on the DVD, that's horse shit. It's fucking, you know what it is? It's we got to come up with a term for that. If it is a fact, perhaps, like, you know, formatism. You know what? So what? The Blu-ray and the 4K is gonna get all these amazing special features, but DVD doesn't get nothing, because it's like, hey pal, you didn't fucking upgrade yet, so here, I'll throw you a bone, but nothing else. Crazy, man. The isolation's fucking with everybody's head, right? So, yeah, I guess I'll just, you know, call it a day. Thanks for watching. Adios.